Okay, so here's my room. Ain't it pretty? It's blue and gray, and the funny thing is that I was wearing gray today, so I match my fucking room. I match my room. Closet that I'm not going to use. Another closet I'm not going to use because I live in this bag. Windows. Nice view. I like the fact that I'm surrounded a little bit by greenery. It's really great. And here is the side. Very simple. Shit, my room ain't even this big. I wish my room was this big. This is a decent size. Like, I would love for this room, and I really love the color pattern. So here is the bathroom. So, funny story. Okay, don't laugh at me. The way the bathroom is set up, I thought that this was it. And when I came in here, I really had to pee. And I couldn't find the toilet for the life of me, not knowing that it was right here. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. What you just saw was the Airbnb I booked in Brooklyn to go to the Blavity Empowerher conference in May. Yes, May. And as you can see, this is being posted in August. Sorry, not sorry. I contemplated whether or not it was too far enough for me to just showcase what I've learned and my experience at this conference. And then I was like, fuck it. I took so much videos. I learned so much things. Why hold it? Because it's deemed history now. And hopefully they have another one next year so you can experience it yourself. The conference had so many great speakers such as Janetta, Hey Friend Hey, Gabby Fresh, Levy, and including the CEO of Blavity, Morgan. Here's some of the highlights of the lessons that I've learned by these women.
Good morning, ladies. I thought, okay, a panel starting at 9:30, 10 o'clock. No, it's going to be an empty room, but I am so excited to see all of you guys here. It's such a beautiful room. And I also just want to kick this off by shouting out Morgan for creating this platform, which is, in my opinion, the most modern approach to speaking to Black women in her whole life. So thank you for creating this, and thank you for creating this incredible conference and inviting all of us to be a part of it. So without further ado, I kind of want to just have an opportunity for each of these ladies to kind of speak to what self-care and self-love actually means to you. Because when they first asked me to do this panel about self-care, I was like, that is the most broad, where do we even begin? But then I realized, like, ultimately this is the best panel that we could possibly be on because it's the most important topic for all of us, and it's the type of thing that I honestly, that's all I want to talk about. I want to talk about spirituality, I want to talk about beauty, I want to talk about wellness in the holistic sense, and that's what each of these women, represents. So maybe we could just take a moment, let's just talk about how do we define self-care and self-love in our own lives, day to day.
Hello everyone, super excited to be here. My name is Lauren. I would say that my definition is increasingly becoming more about what happens when I'm not able to go to the yoga studio or join my sister friends for an afternoon of dialogue, but what happens when it's just me alone and I'm having a bad day? How am I able to, dig within my own self, my own resources to lift myself up? So for me, that often involves meditation and reflection through journaling. So, in the midst of the worst day ever, what tools can I do without anybody else around or anything tangible around to really lift myself up?
My name is Ofrine, and I have a brand called Coco Swatches. And essentially, it's a brand that celebrates makeup on different complexions. Oftentimes, makeup advertisers in their product development and their communications often leave out women that have darker complexions, that have complexions like you and I. So the brand basically uses Instagram and a mobile app to help you guys be informed consumers when you're going to Sephora or whatever have you, or shopping on some of these e-commerce only makeup sites. So that's kind of what I do, and my background is actually in communications. I just actually completed my master's at Columbia, so I'm kind of excited. So yeah, I do that kind of freelance, but I'm really trying to focus on building this makeup brand. And in terms of self-love and self-care, I think that as someone that's kind of trying to be an entrepreneur and someone that's really busy, self-care for me is just taking a moment out for myself. You know, I might have, you know, I don't want to, excuse my French, but a shit ton of emails, and I see that, but you know, sometimes you just need to take a moment for yourself, whether it's maybe I should just cook myself dinner or just take a moment to have a glass of wine. It's really just about putting yourself first in some situations, because without you, your brand or your job is not going to function in the proper way. And I also just too wanted to touch on self-love. I think that a lot of times people act like loving yourself is so easy, especially in this kind of environment where oftentimes little black girls are, you know, told to do everything but, in terms of the kinds of messages that we're fed by the media at large. And so just being in places like this where we're celebrated is a form of like of affirmation and self-love, because it's definitely not the easiest thing, so yeah.
Hi, I'm Gabby. I have a blog called Gabby Fresh. I also have my own swimwear collection, and I guess I was one of the first people to really mix body positivity with fashion and not be ashamed of my size, and talking about how we should be breaking the rules and not following them. Wear crop tops, wear bikinis, wear everything that people tell you not to, because if you're sticking to these rules, they actually kind of are based in shame, and it's about how to look thinner, or why are we told to wear black, why are we told to wear A-line dresses, because we're supposed to have this perfect hourglass shape, because we're supposed to be a certain size. And so when you really kind of get over that hump of like realizing you don't have to be that person, you're free to kind of experiment with fashion and wear what you want, and wear fashion in a playful way to express yourself. And so in terms of self-care, it changes for me, but I think for me it's just about balance. I struggle with mental health issues as well, which I speak about, and I think forgiveness is very big for me, forgiving myself for not being able to do everything I want to be able to do, and also comes back a lot of, we'll probably get into this later, but for me it's also sometimes about outward expression, and I talk about that a lot with the plus size community, and as well as with the beauty community. I think people kind of judge us and assume that if you are wearing a lot of makeup, then you're insecure, right? But there's a way to have self-care and like use makeup and clothing as a way to love yourself, and a way to feel great about yourself in a way that's not, I don't think, about covering yourself up necessarily. So we can talk more about that later.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
Hey, beautiful ones. I'm Francesca, known as Hey Fran. Hey, woo. Hey Fran, hey on the internet. I have a blog, heyfranhey.com. I have a podcast called The Friend Zone. Yeah, nice. And a YouTube channel. I'm basically the health person online. We cover everything from nutrition to fitness to mental health. Just because I think we focus so much on beauty, but not so much on the internal aspects of getting that beauty together. So that's basically what my brand is about. As far as self-care, I think the most important thing is building a relationship with yourself to understand what are the things that recharge you. And for me, I'm an introvert, and being alone recharges me, so it was a matter of carving out that time to make sure that I spend that time by myself so that I can be of better service to my brand, to myself, and to those around me. So that's pretty much that.
Question for you both is, what did you know now that you didn't know before that you wish you knew when you started your companies?
I know so much more than I used to know. I knew nothing. I still know nothing. But I think really it's about asking for help. I think there's so many people willing to help you, and there were so many people willing to help me. And the reason why we've been able to grow is because our team is willing to ask for help, whether that's through partners, influencers. I've got Markel here, he's holding a mic, but Markel has an amazing project called The New Stereotype, right? we asked him for help, he asked us for help, and you figure out how can you have a symbiotic relationship where you can both accomplish your goals. So that's one of the things that we're trying to get better at, and I'm personally trying to get better at, is saying, I do not have this in my core competency, this is not my strength, I need to ask for help.
I think the one thing that I would want to know, well, I've always known that I would be okay. And that was like the little voice inside of my head when my grandma's like, no, you don't need to go out there. And like, no, I'm gonna be fine. Like, and if I feel like I'm walking in my purpose, God, the universe, my mother will clear my path and I'll be fine. So far, so good. I think the one thing that I wish I knew back then that I know now, God, would be to be real intentional and have working agreements with even my friends.
Yes.
Boundaries, setting rules of like terms and conditions of how we're going to interact with each other when we're talking about business, and then like knowing when to turn it off and we can be friends, because it's like you have to be real specific.
It's very hard. I think especially as Black women, we have a lot of friends, right? Like that's just part of sisterhood, and like that's the reason we're all here, right? But even in a business relationship, you have to be able to separate those things. So all my co-founders are like, at this point, they're like my brothers because we've been through so much. And there are times where I'm like, I need to have a business conversation with you, right? Versus, I need to have a friend conversation with you, right? Like, how's it going? What's good? Like, how's Bay? How's ex-Bay? Like, all of that.
Most of the stuff that I do, I came up with. I did it myself or with my close friends. Because I don't trust white folks to handle my stuff. I don't. I'll take your money, but I don't trust you to handle my stuff. I sold 10,000 copies of a self-published book because I didn't think the crackers was going to be able to handle my book. So, I mean, I did that by myself, and I made a $7.50 profit from each copy. So, I mean, that's just how I go about things. I wanted a conference that featured all women of color, and it was organized by all women of color, and so me and my friends made that happen, and we had the first total digital conference, online conference by women of color for women of color. We made history because we said we was going to do it. I wanted to talk about street harassment. I got tired of white women being the face of street harassment, so we came up with a hashtag and a movement that has reached all around the world because I got tired of white people handling things. So, you know, in terms of when it comes to creating stuff, you know, there's going to be people who are going to say no, but I don't even give them the opportunity to tell me no. I just do what I need to do. When I was about to start the National Moment of Silence, I reached out to a number of organizations to help, and none of them responded to me, but look what happened. I did it myself, and I got a couple of people to help me. We all did it, because NAN wasn't helping, NAACP wasn't helping, number of folks wasn't helping us. We wanted to get the word out, and we wanted to have a vigil against police brutality, but they didn't want to put their name on it. That's okay, because over 100 publications around the world wrote about it, and they could have got their damn name out there. Sometimes you just gotta do what you want to do and stop waiting for people to co-sign you.